Mr. Beast is finished is a sentence I've seen parroted all over Twitter and all over my TikTok page. With people saying that, like, this is where Mr. Beast peaked and now he's, like, regressing. They're acting like we're watching a train wreck of a Hollywood star that's completely fell off and they're getting plastic surgery for the 80th time. What's most surprising, though, these people aren't actually talking about Mr. Beast or Jimmy, the channel's creator. They're talking about his friend, who's been in a lot of his videos, Chris, or Chris the Meme God. Now, Chris is one of the OGs of the Mr. Beast group. I'm pretty sure you know that already, but to the point that they basically grew up together at school, and Chris is actually Mr. Beast's first subscriber when he made the channel.
Chris, one of the guys in the videos, he's my first subscriber. He's been my friend. It's not like I went to LA and hired some actor. He just literally, he's been day one.
But now Chris is seemingly under fire for the way he's dressing or the way he's acting in videos, leading people to spam comments like, "We miss the old Chris. We want the old Chris Chandler back."
So I really just shouldn't. Gentlemen, how are we able to afford this plane?
So I'll address the elephant in the room. Chris is trans and has been for a while now. I think at least a couple of months, probably even more behind the scenes. He did come out on Twitter, I think a fair few years ago, saying he was bisexual, but now he's actually started taking HRT. And to be fair, since announcing he's been taking HRT and coming out, he's got a lot of support from the Twitter people. But a lot of other places, he's not getting any kind of support. A lot of people seem to parrot the same argument that he was happily married, he had a wife, he had a child, and now he's abandoned all of that to become trans. You know what? I'm going to say something really brave here. I don't think people that are trans wake up one morning and go, I'm going to uproot my entire life and all the security that family brings just to become trans for the funny. Now, Chris has said on his Twitter multiple times that he's not with his wife anymore. He obviously still sees his son, but I feel that's more of like a personal issue that we shouldn't really look into. Chris has said in the past multiple times that he's not actually with his wife anymore. They're not really together, but obviously he still sees his child. Also, for anyone thinking I'm misgendering Chris...
Sorry, I don't know if I'm retarded or... Did he just say the exact same thing twice in a row?
Now, Chris has said on his Twitter multiple times that he's not with his wife anymore. He obviously still sees his son, but I feel that's more of like a personal issue that we shouldn't really look into. Chris has said in the past multiple times that he's not actually with his wife anymore. They're not really together, but obviously he still sees his child. Also, for anyone thinking I'm misgendering Chris, on like both of his Twitters at the minute, he's fine with like any pronouns. Now, one of the weirdest game theories I've seen circulating around this Chris coming out as trans story is how it's Carl Jacobs' fault. I'm not joking. You go onto any kind of TikTok, YouTube short, Twitter video, anything to do with Chris, like some kind of before or after comparison, you will always see the top comment being someone saying the Carl Jacobs effect. The only comparison I can make is the fact that Carl dresses up a little bit more uniquely to the Mr. Beast crew. I mean, yeah, he wears like polo shirts and stuff sometimes. I guess it's a little bit more zesty. The thing is that surprises me, I'm surprised that people are surprised that Chris came out trans. I mean, I knew from personal experience that Chris was actually talking to a fair few trans creators behind the scenes, like years before coming out. I think I read somewhere like an American youth today, it's like 1.4% of like...
So you're surprised that people did not have access to this hidden information that you had fucking... I knew he was talking to trans people behind the scene, so I wasn't surprised.
Like youth identify as trans. I'm not joking when I say like in this creator space on YouTube, bro, it feels like it's 1 out of 10. I memean, there are so many YouTube groups I can think of that have at least one member who's trans. I mean, look at Fitz's group, for example, with McCreamy, Swagger Souls.
Everyone, hands in the air. Hands in the fucking air. No, shake them. Give me jazz hands. Give me fucking jazz hands. All right, ready? Ready?
They had Toby on the telly, and Toby on the telly came out as trans, renamed to Toby with an I. A couple of years ago, I actually met her in person and got some pictures of like me and her in makeup. That's the reason why when I went onto the Cold Ones podcast, I was covered in makeup. The thing is, this transition that Chris has been going through has obviously been going on behind the scenes for a very long time, but because you're only seeing him in Mr. Beast videos, people think that, you know, he's suddenly changed outfits overnight, like he's changed his entire personality. And now people are doing what they always do by using old videos as ammunition against him, finding these really old videos of him being like edgy. Like, for example, there's one where he made a joke about, you know, attack helicopters being a gender.
All right, time to see if they've updated the gender list. They have 63 genders up there, but they can't have my gender. I sexually identify as an attack helicopter. People say to me that a person being a helicopter is impossible. I'm having a plastic surgeon install rotary blades, 30mm cannons, and AMG 114 Hellfire missiles on my body. From now on, I want you guys to call me Apache.
Wow, the guy that made fun of genders is now trans. Many such cases. It's obviously a poor taste joke, but again, like, you could apply that to any YouTuber on earth. Look, any YouTuber, if they didn't delete their videos back in 2016, 2017, they would probably be in jail right now. I know for a fact in my older videos, I had some horrendous takes, some really, like, edgy language. It did not age well. Now, obviously, there are people making their jabs like, the old Chris is better, we miss the old Chris. But then there are some, like, actually vile creatures making jabs at him. Like, for example, this guy, Ollie London, who made this tweet. Chris Tyson, a collaborator of YouTube's biggest channel, Mr. Breast, which has 143 million subscribers and 24 billion views, has gone from a straight masculine man to a transgender woman in the space of 2 months. Chris is a father to a 2-year-old baby and has a wife. He began undergoing hormone replacement therapy just 2 months ago. In a previous tweet, his 1 million followers told him, "I'm genuinely so glad so many people are learning what HRT is and how it can and has helped so many people." Chris. If anyone doesn't know, by the way, Ollie London is an individual who paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to get plastic surgery to change from a white man to a Korean man because he was just that obsessed with the whole K-pop culture. Ollie was also trans at one point, going from male to female, but then later detransitioned back into a male. I feel like he's almost projecting his experience as being a trans person onto Chris. This is also someone that is charging £1,600 for a business cameo, by the way. And that is like nowhere near the end of the cope train. It only gets worse. For example, they had a live stream on the Mr. Beast second channel a couple days ago, and they were trying to speculate that Mr. Beast, Jimmy, was like uncomfortable around Chris. What evidence do they have of Jimmy being uncomfortable? Well, see for yourself. They clearly have him dead to rights. And this obviously led to the entire comment section to essentially say he got the old Mr. Beast 6000 in him. I don't even need to tell you, like, how many people that stream, they always look like lifeless corpses. Unfortunately, it's natural. I mean, me right now doing a pre-recorded video, high energy, I probably look a little bit less like a corpse. But if I'm streaming for like 4, 5, 6 hours a day, sometimes I just don't want to fucking speak. I just want to concentrate on the game. I mean, bro, I could name so many streamers. Hassan Empty Chair, Forsen saying something every 50 minutes. Right. Also, I want to say the moderator team for the Mr. Beast second channel where the live stream took place, they were working overtime and they definitely need a raise because I could not find a single instance of Chris being mentioned anywhere. I'm honestly pretty convinced that they just blacklisted the word Chris. I mean, I can't blame them because if you go into the actual live stream YouTube comment section, they're all basically just directing their hatred towards Chris and saying like Chris lost a bet. But that's not it. Oh, that's not it. It somehow gets worse. In typical Twitter fashion, they just start showing around completely fake screenshots of Chris apparently trying to do like, you know, CIA fraudulent takedowns of people that are criticizing him, filing out hundreds of lawsuits and then sending them around to like Twitter gimmick pages, which just obviously didn't happen. Even with one of these like super real, by the way, screenshots being Mr. Beast himself talking to one of his friends, like begging him, saying like, you need to respect Chris. It's like critical for the business. You know, of course, because Jimmy would actually use his own verified account to communicate with business people like that, not a WhatsApp group. The funny thing is, Chris did actually come out about this. He quote tweeted it himself saying, "My lawyer will be in contact," and then just shows a picture of Jimmy. Overall, it's a pretty moronic situation. I do think the cope of people saying they miss the old Chris, these are kids that were like 9 and now they're like 12 and they've probably grown up out of like watching Mr. Beast content and they're looking for any reason to shit on him. If anything, I respect Chris for coming out because he knew he was going to get shit on. He knew. I mean, thankfully he's got a lot of support, but there are a lot of detractors and that will always happen. But yeah, respect to Chris, unless you know, start a cameo anytime soon and you start charging 1,600 quid per cameo. In that case, fuck off. This is Pyrocynical from the future. There's actually been kind of an update with the Chris situation. He actually hit back at one of his detractors.
I have no idea who any of those people are at all. But good for him, I guess. Dear bro, man, for 73 months and Nobelike Jazzman with the 1 year, tier 3. Wow, hello Mr. Force, thank you for getting my name right. It only took 200 gifted subs, on mega cake. How many more until I get mod? 1 million.